You know I am Assistant Chief Gina V. Hawkins.
Assistant Chief Gina V. Hawkins. So, as far as rank goes, like you are the third in command for the entire sheriff's office?
That is correct.
So, how big of a deal is it to be the Assistant Chief Deputy of the Cobb County Sheriff's Office?
So, actually, I don't even see myself as that position being a big deal, but I am a big freaking deal. So let me explain that mindset of being a big freaking deal. I believe we all are big deals. So often we downplay our roles, no matter if we're a line officer or a line deputy. How we impact and who we impact is a big deal. I have been fortunate and been blessed to have had many opportunities to be influential, to make a difference, to have responsibilities of things that I never imagined I would have responsibility of it. So I take my role very seriously, but my title has changed. You know, I've been the first chief of a major city before. I lead now the National Association of Women Law Enforcement Executives as their president. But ultimately, I am still Gina, still learning from everybody around me. So I think it's a blessing and it's a big deal because I have so many people that I can learn from, be around, and be exposed to. That's what makes it a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me because who I have access to is a big deal, and I love that. Okay, so I've been in law enforcement since 1988. So this is my 37th year. And time hasn't flown, but I really look at it and say, wow, 37 years. I never imagined even starting. I started when I was 20 in the police academy. I turned 21 literally in the police academy before I came out. And I was just a kid and just a baby. Never would I imagine. I'm proud of my age. I am 57 years old. So just had a birthday. But I also don't see a thing called retirement in the sense of what does that look like? I see a thing called purpose. I see living in purpose, living in cause. I'm close to my faith, and I know that everything that I do every single day that I wake up is not by chance. Whoever I'm around, it's on purpose. There's a reason for it happening, and it's a blessing to be alive and to be able to make a difference. So 37 years officially, but who knows how much longer, but every single day I'm going to try to make a difference. So absolutely. So I originally came on just as an officer with the Atlanta Police Department. I did 10 years as in the investigations on the side of like vice, gang unit, narcotics. I love that world. It was a casual world. We came to work. We did a lot of different things, and then I started promoting, becoming a supervisor, wanting to make a difference, and then never was just wanting to get more pay, but also I was a mom, and I was a wife at the time, and I never imagined going all the way up the ranks. I just imagined trying to make a difference every single day in this profession. So after 18 years, I left the City of Atlanta Police Department as an assistant zone commander, and then went to the city of Sandy Springs, was being created as a brand new city, needing to start a brand new police department. So I still believe in possibilities. So in my mind, I was going to help start a new police department, make it right, make it perfect with imperfect people. So had to learn and grow up through that. So I left after 7 years with Sandy Springs as a captain when Clayton County Police Department was looking for a deputy chief. So then I left there and got hired as a deputy chief for Clayton County Police Department. I was there for 4 years, and then I got a phone call about Fayetteville, North Carolina, having an opening for a chief of police, and I applied for the position and was chosen to be the chief of police for Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was there for 5.5 years and then retired from that position, and then was looking for the next step of where else do I want to do, because I love what I do. I did not have to be a chief again. I just wanted to serve. And then I got a phone call and came to Cobb County Sheriff's Office, which is new for me because local law enforcement is different from the responsibilities of the Sheriff's Office. So it's also been exciting because I've learned so much since I've been here and still learning of how we serve and with the mandates of the Sheriff's Office and coming back actually to where I lived prior to leaving Georgia. My daughters both graduated high school, came up in the school system in Cobb County, so I loved Cobb County. I wanted to come back, if I was come back to Georgia, to live in Cobb County, so I'm excited to actually be living where I work again for the second time in my life. I lived in Fayetteville in the jurisdiction, but now I'm going to be living where I work. I still live where I work now in Cobb County, so I love Cobb County.
Yes, let's give a round of applause for that tenureship. We love to see it. Okay, so at this time, even at the sheriff's office, for how long now?
A year and a half. We talked about that, 18 months. Flew by. It flew by.
It did, because it seems like because you came here as such like a powerhouse, like you've been here for years.
Yes, I was the first female and first of color, first Hispanic and Black. So I was the first female and the first person of color to be the chief of police at Fayetteville, North Carolina, and also was so supported by the community, extremely supported by that community, was engaged, loved doing that. And then actually Fayetteville was one of the most challenging times periods because I was there, navigated through COVID and navigated through civil unrest. Those years of 2020 through about 2022 were very difficult years for law enforcement, for our profession as a whole. We saw so much. We saw a lot of stressful time periods of being exposed to COVID. That was crazy for the world. But in law enforcement, where we could not be isolated, we had to stay in the fight. That was very difficult. So that was a lot of pressure, which goes to the heart of another part of what I believe and what I do is make sure law enforcement and society knows officer wellness, health and wellness has to play a crucial role in how we take care of ourselves and have longevity in this profession. Officers and deputies see things that everybody's not supposed to see in a lifetime. We see it every single day, and it impacts you. It impacts you mentally, and people think that mental health is not a big deal. Mental health is huge, but for law enforcement, for decades, we've been told to suck it up. We've been told to, you're supposed to tough it out. You can see all that, but we're just human, and we're not supposed to see all that. But we have mechanisms to make sure we can take care of ourselves. We should be taking care of our stress and making sure we address it because, we get impacted by not only things we see, but the experiences that we go through, whether it's a fight, whether it's someone shooting at you or an attack, or car accident, or being exposed to vicarious trauma where you see kids being abused. You see a victim of domestic violence or rape, and it might be happening in your family, or you can't even imagine it happened to your family. You might have kids of the same age, and we are human. We see that, and us going in our minds thinking about those things does affect us. So I'm a big component, and I'm glad this profession has changed to make sure we take care of wellness. Law enforcement is the biggest risk of death is ourselves. We have more suicides by death of law enforcement than any other thing, than getting attacked, than car accidents. We are our own worst enemy regarding how we die, committing suicide. But we have to get that information out, get the training, get the exposure, and get people realizing you should be going through counseling. That's a major part of our profession so that we can take care of ourselves, lower our stress, and help our community, because somebody's going to have to do it, but we got to do it and survive and live purposeful so we can reflect the community and give them tools to be able to say, how do you address this? So I think even coming up the ranks, I think it helped us because where I came from, just like every officer. Where you come from is who you bring to the profession, and how you are able to empathize and understand a different perspective or different ideas. So growing up, I know I was discriminated against and treated differently. Nowhere where I want someone else to be treated that way. So being able to listen and communicate, just like women are, we are better communicators. We also can empathize a lot because we can see as women or as mothers or as sisters, we're more nurturing. So even opening up the mindset of what's another option to take care of our community, I think played a big role. Being able to educate people on that perspective of that member in the community, having the conversation, not being afraid to have the conversation. Also, relieving my male officers or male counterparts with the stigmatism of, it's okay to talk about having this issue, or it's good that you're taking care of your family on family medical leave with your wife. That's important, right? And not have to worry about somebody's going to look at them differently, that they want to take care of their family. So I think it did play a big role. It does play a big role because we're willing to talk about it and try to open up others to say it's good, crucial conversation, and that's how we learn about others, and that's how we learn about other cultures. We become culture competent is the word. I love learning about other people, and especially if they were raised a different way. Their culture's differently. I want to know from everything from where do you eat or what are your traditions. That helps us do our job better. That makes us aware of our environment, how things that we're not used to traditionally they may be used to. That helps us be able to communicate and do our job a lot better. Ever since I've been in, from the academy on, and we expect it. So, and that should be the message. Expect it. This is not historically has not been a traditional profession for women. We have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. But it is not an excuse whatsoever. You just have to be confident enough to know that you're just going to have to do your job just the way others, to the best of the limitations, right? There's qualifications that's needed. You need to have those qualifications. And we've shown that we have those qualifications. Now, how we do it can be differently. Whether or not I choose to say, I'm going to side someone to fight them, might not be advantageous to me, right? But I'm still going to be trained to figure out how I can do that. But if I can talk you down, if I can communicate that I won't have to break my nails, I'm going to try that first, right? But early on, as a young officer, I was so hard-strung and believing I'm going to do it the male way, right? No one's going to challenge me or saying I didn't do it the male way, which was crazy, and it ended up me being in more fights.
Can you elaborate what the male way is?
So if they think you do it by strength or force, I'm just going to be in presence, I'm going to be mean, or I'm going to be, I thought in my mind as a young officer, because I was young and had a baby face, and I also liked to fight. I grew up athletic and I just really liked to fight, so that was fun to me. But having to prove that I can do just as many push-ups, or I can run just as hard, or I can fight just as much, I can shoot just as well, those are all good qualifications. But that transitioned to how I actually treated people. Growing up in the agency, I was a kid, and people telling you, or me watching people say, do it because I said do it. Just the authoritative manner of policing, right? But that really wasn't me. Now, mind you, I can be firm, and I can fight, but I didn't have to do that all the ways. How can I communicate for the other person to get what I need done? So having that image of saying, I have to be like a man in this profession, we don't. We can still do the job. We can still complete the job. I still can fight. I still can put somebody in jail. I still can save a life the same way a male can save a life. But that perception that men have to do a certain way, there are many men who are scared and can't fight and can't shoot. There are. So it's not a gender situation. It is a capability situation. So getting that image out of men and women's minds, right? Because I said, I believed I had to be this way. And that was my own belief that I put on myself. And I don't. Now, mind you, I'm going to make sure, if you ask, the question is, Was I ever discriminated against? Yes, I probably did it to myself, and other women do it to ourselves as well. Until we also realize when the situations happen, we give the person the opportunity to reflect. You realize I'm being treated differently.
Can you give an example of that?
Let's give an example of if I'm not chosen to be assigned to a unit, right? Or not given that opportunity, but they will give a male the opportunity. If I have the same qualifications or better qualifications, am I able to do an investigation, or then why are you not choosing me over a male, right? Or being assigned to a unit, if I meet all the qualifications, physical qualifications, why am I not being chosen? Things like that, or even how someone talks to you. You know, early on when I came on over 37 years ago, it was nothing to say something inappropriate to a woman, to try to pick someone up, to try to aggressively try to go out with someone or ask them over and over again, saying things that were totally like creating a hostile working environment. So early on, before the laws really were emphasized, that existed, and having to stand up to others and take a stance was a very difficult. You had to have the confidence to stand on your own at times, surrounded by men. I probably had it better than most because I grew up with a strong family network, and I probably spoke up more than others. But I can see others were afraid to speak up, and they were in a male environment talking what they call inappropriate conversations, where they're talking about women or where it's showing to other women in bad situations. Those are other environments that we've evolved. We know better now. Back in the day, it happened all the time. So there's been many times, and even to the point, even now, I would say even now, 37 years on, I think there was a time when I was a chief of police and there was an investigation going on that the director of HR was asking me a question and asked me, what were you wearing when you were at that location? And I was off duty. I was like, are you asking me if I was in uniform or not? No, he was specifically asking me what attire did I have on. And it had nothing to do with the complaint he was investigating. Even situations like that, would you ever ask a man what attire was he wearing? Those situations, that's when I was a chief. Even going through that was very emotional for me, because to be on, at that point, 30-something years, and be experiencing a department head asking you a question that you know is illegal and inappropriate, but having to have that feeling like, wait a minute, I'm being treated like I did something wrong. I can only imagine a rape victim when they ask them, what do you have on when you got raped? Even during that time period, having to make sure that's brought to someone's attention, that never happens to someone else, in the position as a chief of police. So if you ask me, have I experienced it? Absolutely. But even more right now, if you think about it, if you look across the nation, there are women leaders that are chiefs of police that are questioned about their decisions tenfold more than another male chief of police. Why are they doing this? When male chiefs don't even have to answer questions like that. It happens to this day. They demand more from women chiefs than they do from men. They also put women a lot often in positions where they don't get support more often than men chiefs, and they expect them to go clean up and fix things. If you look at different agencies, you look at different things, they put people in positions, women in positions, to go clean up a situation, and then they question them about it. So how women are being treated differently, absolutely, I see it. We just have to have a voice, and we have to have many allies bringing it to attention. Is this a good question? Is this are you treating this person fair and consistent, and are you providing support for the decisions that they make? Because really, these positions that I hold now are based off of decisions, based off of evaluations, based off of experience. And I have probably more experience, more qualifications than most, but I still get questioned all the time. But that's okay, because I'm here to clearly educate others. So let me do it for my daughters. My daughters, first of all, I have a 33-year-old and a 23-year-old, have never seen me not be an officer. That's all they've ever known. Their mom is in police. There's a 10-year gap. So my oldest was able to be a part of, like when I was a detective and I was working in the community events and things like that, she would come with me sometimes, so she was engaged in that aspect. So she saw me in law enforcement, and no big deal for how she related to it. Now, there were times definitely that I wasn't always being able to be present for absolutely everything. I was a mom, but for the things that I thought, any type of event, any sporting event, any type of event like a recital, I was there. I'm going to be at that basketball game, besides the part that I love sports, but I'm going to cheer on my children. So I'm not just cheer on my children, I'm going to cheer on everybody's children that's on the team in that event. But times I would have to make plans to have support regarding if there has to be a babysitter at a time period. You know, for her first years, I worked during the middle of the night, so that all I needed was someone to sleep while she was sleeping and make sure nothing happened. And then I would be there during the day for her. So as I also had my second daughter, I was married at the time, and that person was in law enforcement. So we had the tag team and having that family support. But I also realized I needed to share with my younger and my children the why I'm doing things. Yes. The why, so that they can understand I have to be gone. It's not because I love what I do, but it's not because I don't want to be around you. There's purpose to what I'm doing. Now, mind you, for the key moments, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be cheering you on. You know, I'm going to be hyping you up no matter what. That's what I want you to know, that I love you no matter what. And when things come, like, for example, my oldest, when she was 9, she was involved in a major accident. And she was hospitalized immediately for 12 days. That police department didn't see me. But thank goodness I had the support of my commanders that said, take care of your family. So that's what I did. So I was out with her for 6 weeks because she was in that bad of a condition, and I had to take care of her. There are priorities that you have to step away and take care of family. But neither one of my daughters don't want anything to do with criminal justice, but they know more about constitutional law, procedural process than any other children. One's an esthetician, one's a teacher in art. But they understand because I communicated to them the why. And mind you, they are also, they know their mom is probably going to be on the phone doing an event, is probably going to be distracted, but they give me grace, and I'm a work in progress. I try to make sure I put it down. So if we go on vacation away, I'll try to set it down so I spend more time with them. But I'm a work in process. I can do better. I can do better. We're getting better. The profession is getting better. You know, I'm Generation X and work, right? But I also recognize the family suffers. The family suffers, and what's priority? I think over the time, my father passed away, and the commander was able to say, go take care of your family, which allowed me to say goodbye to my father, which is crucial. You know, and anything with the family is definitely crucial. But first and foremost, anything with yourself is crucial. Taking care of yourself is such a big deal right now for this profession, and make sure you acknowledge that is very crucial so you can take care of your family, and acknowledging that. So definitely, because if this is truly what your passion is, you're going to make the way, but you also got to take care of your holistic, and your family needs to know that you care, they love you, and you can't be distracted. You'll be distracted if your family is having issues. You can't be wholly at work if your family is having concerns. Oh, you know what? Well, first of all, I've never not been anything but a female first, Randy. But I really think, so I used to be a part of an organization that dealt with the National Association of Black Law Enforcement Executives. I sat on executive board, notating what we can do for our community and being a minority. But then as I realized there's more women that need to acknowledge their greatness, that downplay themselves, that play a big role in this profession, that does things 10 times more than others and don't get acknowledged, is where I realize I need to be encouraging and advocating more of that. Across the world, there are agencies or countries that have almost 50%, close to 50% of their whole organization are women. They expect women to be in this profession. So that's when I realized I need to be gassing ourselves up and reminding ourselves, you are big freaking deals. And at this time, I've had the opportunity, or been afforded, like I said, the opportunity to be in places just because of the hard work that I've done. And there's so many other people doing hard work. They need to be acknowledged and they need to be encouraged, because once you realize we all can work together and provide a situation for our community, the better our community will be. You know, our community is made up of Cobb County, more than 51% of women, right? Why can't they see that reflected? Why does that have to be a downplay? And why can't we make sure we're efficient, proficient in this profession and love it? And we love it. So I'm going to advocate for women. Now, mind you, it's never anything against men. I love my brothers. I love my brothers in law enforcement. I have a stepson. I love men. I'm going to encourage, but I'm always going to encourage the men. I'm always going to be their backbone. I'm always going to be support them. I'm always going to root them on and take it. But I'm also need to encourage the women, because they don't get it enough. And they don't get it enough from themselves. So making sure they take care of themselves is crucial for me. So being a woman in law enforcement makes me proud, especially when I see other women doing it well. I think I grew up a hype person. My siblings were better athletes than I was. So I was an athlete, but they were extremely better athletes than I was. So I was the person in the crowd screaming my head off, cheering them on, because they were amazing, right? And I think when I see others being amazing, it encourages me, and it makes me truly feel good to cheer for them and see them winning, especially during the times when they've overcome a lot of different things. So that makes me feel really good and encourages me to say, if they can do that, then I can do my part as well. So I love being a woman in this profession because we stand out. So I consider myself, I've evolved to being all of that. I want to be relaxed. I want to not have to worry. I want to have peace. I love going to the spa. Oh, I love being pampered. I love being catered to. I love thinking about different times to be in a dress with my makeup on, being glammed up. I love all those things. But I also realize there are times that I'm going to have to step up and defend and protect myself, my family. But I also can do it cute, and I also can do it glamorous. But because I've done this so long, and it didn't start when I was an officer, it started as a young kid. Growing up, I think I was the most vocal of my siblings, and I love defending. I hated bullies. And I saw my older brother, who was non-confrontational and athletic and strong, being bullied by others. And as tall as he was, and I'm 5'4", he's 6'1", and I see other boys or teenagers bullying him, I'm jumping in their face. And then they're dismissing me like, oh, Gina, you know we just messed with him. And I'm mad. I'm like, I don't care what you're messing with him about. I'm going to defend him. So the defense of me wanting to be soft, if that's the word, or the soft girl. Please, soft. I love my soft bed. I want the glamorous of the beauty of being a girl. I love being a girl. I love getting pampered, like I said. But when the time comes, I'm going to train to be about this life. I'm going to be trained about how to defend myself. I am not going to call uncle. I'm in it for the battle, and I got to be prepared. But I can be looking good and be ready at the same time. So in that aspect, I think we can train for both. We can prepare for both. You know, there's nothing more than I want just to be able to relax and not have to be stress-free. I want to be stress-free. But until I'm able to be stress-free, I got to be prepared for both. So I'm going to advocate for all of it, right? But I'm also going to advocate for individuals to be able to protect themselves. Not even just fighting, speaking up for themselves. And when they see something, we'll fight. You don't always have to be the one in the fight. I just so happen to like fighting, right? I can watch an MMA fight. I can watch boxing. I don't want to be in it, but I want to be able to train just in case I have to defend myself. The same way I'm going to train my daughters what to look for or what to be prepared for, so that nothing in society, the evil society, doesn't attack them, or they can prepare their friends around to protect themselves, because the last thing I ever want is anything to happen to my family. So I'm going to teach them what to look out for, how to defend themselves, but then also to have a good time and enjoy themselves and being who they want to be. So I see that also, not just a women thing. I see that as an officer thing or a deputy thing, because men also need to embrace their empathy and their awareness of their emotional intelligence component of it. Their awareness of, you know what, they just want to relax and they might just want to zen out too, right? Or they might just want to fish, or they might, you know, I want them to be prepared and be trained up to do their job. But if you want to do it fancy, soft, in a certain way, be prepared if someone approaches you. But this profession will require you to be able to not just defend yourself, but help defend your partner. So you're going to have to learn those skills. You're going to have to learn how to be safe. That's what we signed up for. You're going to have to be about that life when the time comes, right? But in the meantime, that's not all the time. If you want to enjoy putting makeup on and talking to someone, calmly talking them down, charismatically getting them to do what you want to do, you don't have to be afraid to do that. You can confidently talk to someone and it not be disrespectful and it not be harsh. And you don't have to cuss. You don't have to cuss anybody out. By the way, I don't cuss, but I'm firm, and people will know if I need to say something. And I all the time don't have to scream to do it. So you can do that, but I support anyone doing it in their way and their style. Okay, so I think besides being a cheerleader for all, I do love games. I love playing games, whether it be some type of Pictionary or some other game in a team atmosphere, competition. And I like to dance, so I'm going to want to learn a new dance. I love music. I am a professional foodie, so I will eat food and want to try anything and everything, any type of restaurant. So I love that, but I also love to cook. What I do for fun is any chance I get to gather to eat. My daughters and I eat every 2 weeks, have a brunch. We go out to brunch just so I can make sure I schedule time with them, because we get so busy and we just do us, and we enjoy it because we all of us like to eat and we want to experience something different. But I'm open to even newer things. So yeah.
What's your favorite food?
I don't know if I have a favorite food because I love food so much. I love flavors. So I will say, I'm going to use the term eclectic, because something different, how it presents itself, the smells, how it looks, the whole atmosphere for me is about the food experience.
Yes, the full experience. What about like your favorite thing to cook?
I'm going to have to say I do like Latin food. I do like the flavors of cilantro or Hispanic food. I do love that. But I also love oysters, raw oysters. I love seafood. I'm telling you, I can eat it all. I can eat it all, definitely. Yeah. I mean, like what else we got? So I love. Yeah. Let me say this. I probably like the idea of like tapas, a whole lot of small bites, right? So I want to taste everything on the menu, but I don't have I can't do it all, so I can't get a full plate of this. But I will say, can I taste your food? Can I taste your food? What does that taste like? So
you never consider being like a little food blogger?
Oh, here's I'm telling you this. I grew up poor, cooking because my parents couldn't buy things, so we had to do what's in the cabinet. I was the one in the cabinet creating things. So I actually, when I retire, have thought about going to culinary school. Because I love not just the foods, but when we get there, figuring out, well, what is that? Well, what would make it good? What would make it better? What do they need to add? What kind of flavor is that? Absolutely. Hire me to be a food blogger anytime. I will give you an honest critique. I will say, ooh, but it will be honest. And I give grace all the time for the food. So
I love it. I love it.
So I think my parents, my father passed away when in 2011, I'm sorry. And I think I have to give it to both of my parents. Both of my parents did not graduate high school. And but they worked hard for their kids, and they were able to have 4 children that went to college, 4 children that are to this day, we're close. And they, all of us are doing different things. I'm the only one in law enforcement. The other ones are doing technology, work for Oracle or work for a bank, dealing with IT or software, things like that. But I think she's proud, because Mom said she's proud of all of her kids and her grandkids. And I think because I am just Gina, my mom truly sometimes don't really understand everything that I do. It's kind of cute because I don't go to them and say, I'm the chief, because she'll still sometimes call and say, are you at lunch? You know, like I get a lunch break. And or, hey, she called the other day, because sometimes actually I go speak. I go speak at different events, or I'll go train or teach as part of this profession moving forward. Or she truly doesn't understand me being the president of the National Association of Women Law Enforcement. She doesn't understand when I get assigned to represent law enforcement in D.C. or things like that. She thinks it's just a meeting, and it's super cute because it's okay with me, because she just sees her daughter. She just sees Gina. So she called me the other day. She's like, Gina, can you tell me again, when you go speak, what do you do when you speak? Or what do you? So I have to tell her, well, Mom, there's different times. It depends on the situation. You can be the keynote speaker. You can be talking about your experience. So she's still trying to understand, well, what is that about and why? So I don't think she still understands the full influence and impact. She does see it when events, so she's invited, you know, but for her, it's still compartmentalized to just that event. Oh, it's a big deal, okay. She'll brag about her kids, but I don't think she truly understands the full capacity of all the decisions that have to be made, all the people that I'm responsible for. She sees it, but I think it's kind of cool, because when the time comes, I'm taking my mom, the birthday gift I got her was to take her on a short weekend trip someplace. So we're going in mid-February to Vegas, because she's like, I never really been to Vegas. I said, okay, Mom, I'm going to take you to Vegas. It's going to be just me and her, and she's going to see 2 shows. We're going to see Babyface and Toni Braxton, and we're going to see anything in Vegas as she can, and go see lots of food for 3 days. So, and because time is too short, so in that time period, it's just gonna be me, Gina, that sometimes is, to her, too aggressive, sometimes too directive, too much in control, you know. And I have to understand that that is my mom, but she also understands I'm taking care of, I wanna take care of you, Mom. I wanna protect you from the people who take advantage of you. But I'm her baby girl, and even my sister, she feels the same way about her. She's like, she's too bossy sometimes. But remember, Mom, I'm proud of my parents, because we would not be here had they not worked so hard for us to get us in that position. And they were, you know, they did the best they could with having kids with no expectation of, because they never graduated high school, they never went to college, so they don't even know what that is like. And us, from their discipline and from their love each other still, work together to protect her and have their legacy to move forward. So, very proud of my mom. No, figure out why you think you want to do it, right? And then do the research. Do the research of the agencies that you're going to work for. And then give it all you got. Don't doubt yourself, because you're going to doubt yourself. As you doubt yourself, counter that doubt with reinforcement of, nope, I can do it. Then find people that's going to support you there, that keep you accountable, and keep pushing past, because it takes some work to constantly tell yourself, this is hard, but I can do it. This is hard, but I can do it, because eventually you're going to do it. When you stay focused on doing it, and then you're going to look back and be like, yeah, I can do that. I can do the next thing, and I can do the next thing. But it does take work, preparation, studying, and always want to learn more. I believe everyone is here for someone else, to serve in whatever capacity with their skills and their gifts. If this is your gift, absolutely come, because we need you. The future needs you, the community needs you, and needs all of you. Come as you are, just like as they say in church, come as you are. We need all personalities. We need all experiences. We need all exposures. Your challenge that you had growing up, whatever that may be, is going to be someone else's challenge in the community. So how much better will you understand what they're going through if you can say, you know, I went through that also. Now let me tell you how to overcome that. So definitely come join in whatever capacity. Do your research on who you work for. You want to work for an organization that's going to support you, that's going to, you have other leaders looking to get better for the community and serve. So yeah.